Sophia Returned from Sorrow, Section 1, New Love. Chapter 1, The Confession.
Marek. So where are you taking me tonight? Sophia's voice carried the familiar note of curiosity. This will be our 4th date in 2 months. There's this jazz bar downtown, I said, trying to sound casual. Best steaks in the city and their appetizers are incredible. You'll love it. Her eyebrows shot up. A jazz bar? The surprise in her voice was unmistakable. She knew my reputation, the church-going Catholic guy who rarely touched alcohol. I laughed at her expression. Relax, we're talking good food, maybe 1 beer, and great conversation. I'm not planning to corrupt you. The truth was, Sophia had me completely off balance from day one. We'd met at a charity fundraiser a few months ago when a common friend, Carlos, God bless him, decided to play matchmaker. Carlos had that rare gift of bringing people together. Maybe it was divine intervention or maybe serendipity, but the moment I saw Sophia across that crowded room, everything else faded, and I whispered, "She's the one." Love at first sight sounds like a cliché until it happens to you. The problem was, I could tell she didn't feel the same lightning strike I did. There was something in her eyes, a wall she kept between us. She'd lean in during our conversations, laugh at my terrible jokes, but then retreat just when I thought we were getting somewhere. Like she wanted to trust me but couldn't quite take that leap. I decided to be patient. Some things were worth waiting for, and Sophia was definitely one of them. All I could do was pray that time would be on my side. It's Rowan one.
Sophia's. Marek is almost irresistible, dangerously so, but the scars from my last relationship still ached, wounds that took years to even begin healing. My first love never gave me closure, just questions that echoed in the dark spaces of my heart, leaving the deepest sorrow in my life. I'd built walls so high that even I sometimes forgot what lay behind them. Yet something about Marek was different. Maybe it was the timing. I'd started that slow, painful journey toward healing before we met. Or maybe it was the way he looked at me, with a sincerity so genuine it caught me off guard. His voice had this quality that could calm storms, and when he smiled, God, that smile. It didn't just light up his face, it seemed to reach right through my defenses and touch something I thought I'd buried forever. He wore his 42 years well. Tall and broad-shouldered, with long, dark hair he kept pulled back and a neatly trimmed beard that gave him an almost regal look. But it was his eyes that undid me every time. Dark blue that seemed to see straight through every wall I'd built. Yet even now, a part of me whispered warnings. Too soon, too risky. What if he leaves like the last one? But when Marek took my hand, those whispers grew quieter. The drive to his famous bar was mostly quiet, exactly how I preferred it. Marek understood the beauty of silence, the way two people could communicate through a simple touch or glance. Every so often he'd reach over and take my hand, his eyes saying what his voice didn't need to. "I'm here. You're safe." When we arrived, he parallel parked with the kind of precision that made me smile despite myself. Always the gentleman, he opened my door and kissed my hand with the tenderness of a true gentleman. "Let's go," he said, and I let him lead me into the chaos. The bar hit us like a wall of sound, laughter, clinking glasses, and a country rock band that seemed determined to wake the entire neighborhood. Marek navigated through the crowd with ease, clearly irregular. "Hey, Marek!" The bartender's face lit up with recognition. "I'll get the usual for you and your pretty lady. And who might she be?" Marek's grin turned mischievous, that twinkle in his eye that seemed to mean trouble. "This here is Sophia, my future wife. She just doesn't know it yet." Heat flooded my cheeks as every head within earshot turned our way. I punched his arm harder than I meant to. "Hey there, Marek. I'm nobody's wife just yet. I need a ring before you can start making those kinds of announcements." The crowd erupted in laughter, and even I couldn't keep the smile off my face as the waitress led us to a small wooden table away from the stage. Marek ordered like a man on a mission, Parmesan potato wedges with tzatziki, and the house steaks that had earned this place its reputation. When the appetizer arrived, we blessed the food, and he immediately offered me the first bite, his fingers lingering near my lips. "They taste amazing," I said, surprised by how hungry I was, for the food, for this moment, for him. I fed him the next bite, and somehow we fell into this intimate rhythm, sharing food and soft kisses between bites. The steaks were perfection, tender meat with fresh vegetables that actually tasted like the garden-to-table variety. We devoured everything, and I found myself laughing at how quickly we'd cleaned our plates. As the evening deepened, so did our conversation. We traded stories, dreams, the small details that make a person real. Then the band shifted gears, and a soloist took the stage. His voice filled the room as he began to sing Callum Scott's Biblical, and Marek's hand found mine. The lyrics washed over us, and I felt that familiar tug of memory, my first love, the way music used to make me ache with longing for someone who would never return it. But this time, instead of drowning in the past, I chose to stay present, to feel Marek's thumb tracing circles on my palm, to see the way he looked at me like I was the only person in the room. When he leaned in to kiss me, the world went quiet except for the singer's voice floating somewhere in the distance. His lips were gentle, patient, asking rather than taking. Time stretched like honey, sweet and golden, until the last note faded and applause brought us back to earth. I was breathless, my heart hammering against my ribs like it was trying to escape. The energy between us was electric, almost visible in the dim light of the bar. "Everything okay here?" The waitress appeared, probably wondering if we'd forgotten how to breathe. Marek smiled without taking his eyes off me. "Yes, everything is just fine. I'll take the check now." After he paid the tab, we left hand in hand, stepping into the cool night air like we were walking into a completely new world.
Marek. We'd barely pulled out of the parking space when the world exploded into twisted metal and shattered glass.
Sophia has spent years rebuilding herself after a love that left her with nothing but silence and unanswered questions. Her walls are high, and she likes it that way. Then there's Marek, patient, steady, dangerously hard to resist. 4 dates in and something is shifting. A jazz bar, shared bites of food, a kiss that makes the whole room disappear. Tonight, Sophia is starting to believe that maybe, she can trust again. Then the night shatters. We'd barely pulled out of the parking space when the world exploded into twisted metal and shattered glass. Will one perfect evening survive the unexpected? And can Sophia's healing heart survive Marek? Get your copy of Sophia, Return from Sorrow on Amazon to find out. Check out the link in bio.